hospital.
In 5 days?
Yeah.
Why?
'Cause 5 days I go to my hospital.
Are you sick today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to last time to my hospital.
We don't go to your hospital until May.
Oh, maybe later?
Yep. In a month. And a week.
Okay.
As parents, we're always second guessing the decisions that we make. And today was one of those days, as Clara's been sick, wasn't sure about staying home with her. So clearly the right decision was made today. Today, as Clara is home with me, sick, thought we would share just a brief video of what everyday life is like with a tubie. So thankfully right now Clara is mostly just getting water and some milk through her tube. So one of the main things is we have random hooks around the house. We use those to hold feed bags. As one thing that's pretty major in her room is the amount of storage that we use for her medical supplies. So we've got a couple drawers of bags here. Got this nursery organizer over here full of bags. In her closet we've got some extra formula. We're not sure if we'll finish using that or not, as she's been mostly doing good with just regular milk. Over here, there's the formula that's already opened. Tylenol, ibuprofen. We've got some extra parts for her spacer. This is a spacer for her inhaler. She's on 2 different inhalers. Down here we have some of the gauze we use to protect her tube site, keep it covered sometimes. Syringes. They're out of extensions, so still waiting on her supply company to get some paperwork figured out for us. Nebulizer treatments. Sticky removal. Wipes, because the tape sometimes gets stuck to her skin pretty good. And we're gonna grab this bag here. These are called gravity feed bags. Basically, we're able to just raise it up, and as long as it's higher than her tube site, you can get water and other fluids into her tummy through her G-tube. Alright, we've got it filled up, ready to go. She gets 200 mils of fluid via her G-tube every 2.5 hours. Right now, because she's not feeling well, she's been complaining about her tummy being too full, her tummy hurting. I will just be giving her 50 to 100. Yes, you are always spilling something when you have a tubie child. So this is her extension. This just plugs into her G-tube, which she's sleeping. So we'll see if she stays asleep for us. Okay, once it's plugged in, we just turn it. One of the benefits of the tube is not biting your kids when you give them Tylenol. I've heard many people tell us how lucky we are because it's so convenient to just plug them in and you're good to go. I must say, sometimes I would like to smack those people, but this is one of the pluses the Tylenol. Dump it. Pull this out. And we're done with the Tylenol. So a lot of times when she's sick, I'll slow down how fast it's going in. The Tylenol's also helping slow that down. There we go. And I just watch the markings up here right now because she's not feeling well. We'll kind of keep our hands around her tummy area, or if she starts moving around or moaning, we generally will stop it. We're gonna stop it. She's had about 50. Later today, I may end up dragging her out to get some Pedialyte as she seems to be a little dehydrated. Her lips have been kind of chapped. Okay, so just a quick update for you guys. We are headed back to Denver at the beginning of May, so I will be taking 3 days off from school, hopefully only 3. Unfortunately, Jonathan has a concert on the 4th, so we're trying to see if my mom can go. If not, we have some other people that will be asking. I could take her by myself. It's just a really long 3 days. We have a 12 o'clock practice swallow study on the 1st. Then we have the actual swallow study on the 2nd, pretty early in the morning. And then the 3rd, she'll have a clinical visit in the aerodigestive clinic where she'll have to see Dr. Prager and some of her other doctors from her team. So that will be some really long days. Her clinic visit usually takes quite a while, so we're curious to see how that will go. She's still choking when she drinks liquid sometimes. She's doing a lot better. I think she's practicing and realizing what throat muscles to use or how to hold her cup to help her so that she doesn't choke, but it still does happen. So we are planning that she's probably going to need another surgery this summer. Obviously, Dr. Prager and then we'll decide exactly what that entails. So last year I know they had decided to wait a year to let her airways mature and allow her airways to get bigger too, so that they could approach it from a different angle, so that hopefully the surgery would hold this time. So that's basically where we're at with her. She's actually been really healthy the last couple months. We had a brief cold at the beginning of the month, and now we're not sure what's going on this week. She did throw up a water feed one time, but nothing since then. She complains about her tummy hurting and has a fever, and maybe some allergies going on with her eyes, something. So we're trying to keep our eyes on her today. We did replace her G-tube on Sunday, so trying to make sure that's not causing any of the issues that we're having today. So we'll let her sleep for a little bit, and we'll be back in a bit to give her some more water. All right, getting her some more water here. We'll try 50 again. If she's not moving around a bunch, we'll try to up that to 100 this time. That will give her a little bit more of a break. She's still in the exact same spot where I left her a bit ago. So I can definitely tell she's not feeling well and is pretty tired. So a couple things I didn't mention in my last. I personally have felt she's stayed healthy because of some Plexus vitamins that I had her on and a ProBio 5. Horrible mom moment. We all have those horrible parent moments. I forgot to send those to Grandma's house, so I'm hoping that's not what caused her to get sick, because obviously then I feel horrible. But yeah, so she stayed healthy compared to any other school year that we've been in. So I do know, well, there she was squirming a bit. We made it 100, so we're good. Or maybe a little over 100. That is progress. Yay. Alright, so we'll get this unplugged here. Okay. Obviously, we've had lots of practice. She generally feels me and knows what I'm doing, but she'll just roll back over and go back to sleep anymore. It used to wake her up, but I think she's just so used to it now that it doesn't anymore. One thing they don't talk about with tube-fed babies is vomit. And everyone that has known me my whole life, I do not do it. Well, I've had to do it, so at least I can handle Clara's. So when tube-fed babies first start getting tube-fed, generally there's a learning curve. We have to figure out how much their tummy can hold and how often we can feed them. And we've still got to make sure they're getting enough calories in, so that makes it really difficult. When we first started, Clara was 13 months. It was actually 2 years ago in this week that she got her G-tube placed. We originally told 6 months, and obviously we have quadrupled that time frame. So we're anxious to hopefully have a successful surgery and get this tube out soon. Because of her aspiration issue, any vomit that she had was a huge concern, as she'd had several pneumonias before that from inhaling breast milk or spit up into her lungs. So yeah, lots of vomit. I made many calls to my doctors throughout the first several months, worried about that it had changed colors or all those weird random things you never thought you'd think about as a mom. I don't want to get into all of it. But anyway, yeah, so we definitely cleaned our carpets. Lately, she hasn't had those issues. You figure out how to vent her tummy. Tubey babies typically tend to deal a lot more with gas and air in the tummy than other babies, although it's a problem with pretty much all babies. So yeah, that's definitely one thing I don't miss about the formula. So glad to have her on water and milk. So travel is hard. It's been easier lately because we don't have to lug around a whole case of formula, and we can just grab her water bag and hit the road, a syringe or two. But before that, lots and lots of packing. In fact, our car that we thought would be sufficient for 2 or 3 kids, we decided if we have another kid, we need a new car. Lately, we've been able to downsize quite a bit, but before that, we were lugging so much equipment with us. And in the beginning, we lugged around this IV pole they'd given us to hang up her feed bags. But since then, we have figured out some innovative ways to get around that, like all the random clips around the house. And we have some clips in the car for our garment hangers, and we've rigged up some carabiners and other things like that so that we can get around that. Honestly, a lot of times we just hold the bag too. So we've figured that out pretty easily. Now that she doesn't need the pump, since we use gravity bags, travel has become a lot easier with that.